See if anybody joins. And nobody's gonna join. I fucked it up. Oh, there's somebody here. Oh, there he is, the legend. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know how you do lives in a truck. Okay. All right. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm gonna get my Jim's YouTube up. I don't know what Skynet is, so apparently I don't use that either. Orlando in the house, okay. Awesome. I think we're good now. Yeah, I need to get some lights set up. I'm trying to use this cheap Harbor Freight one, but it's got to shorten it. It works when it wants to. That's what happens when it's made in China, though, I suppose. All right, so let's see. I'm going to have to look down. It is more difficult for sure to do a live on here than just using the computer where it just houses everything. I can read the comments over here, see the image. Yeah, I mean, I've watched Terminator before, but I'm a little younger. And actually, I don't know, I'm 34, 35, somewhere in there. All right. So let me know as you guys are jumping onto the actual live and not the one with the cool thumbnail that I created. Any questions that you have? I wanted to start by just giving the little quirky odds and ends of like being in a pickup truck versus being in a medium duty truck. One, the biggest thing that I always think about, it doesn't matter how many times you put your gloves on, your hands, at least mine, are always dirty. I probably buy like a new pair of gloves every 2-3 weeks. It is what it is. Like you're just, in the back. It's not that just hook up, go, drop off, get out of there. It's, how did I find it? Oh, actually, another YouTuber, Hustle Haul and Tow, had sent me an email, and we were email corresponding when my truck had blew up. Well, I mean, it didn't blow up, but and he had sent me a link to just a Facebook marketplace, and from there I was looking at the price of that. It was already leased on with Indiana Transport. If I was going to be able to get it, I would have been able to start right away, and so it was either that or dump an extra $5,000 from what I bought this thing for, and then wait 2 to 3 weeks to get back into single poles. So, pressure either crumbles things or it creates diamonds, and you capitalize on the adversity that you're facing. And so I bought this, and it's definitely not it's equal to the farm truck. It's old, it's used, she's had a few laps around, Let's see here. But yeah, I think I got a pretty good deal on it for the most part. I won't name who I bought it from unless you're looking at buying one off of Facebook Marketplace, because I've started to learn that this individual may be a little shisty in their dealings, but so far so good, and it's made me a decent amount of money. Hey, Carlos. Hillbilly Trucker, I am definitely still wet behind the ears. Unless you were saying you are, then welcome, we are too. Fair winds and following seas. I am, yeah, you can't see that. I am at Thunder Road. Just had their barbecue, pulled pork barbecue melt or something. It was on point. Davenport, not too far from me, relatively speaking. Let's see, raking in cash. What's the typical freight for backhauls on Central? Cars, trucks only. Are there semi-trailers? No, so I think Central Dispatch in general, it's like niche is just like vehicle freight. For the most part, cars, trucks, you can find loads that have, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vehicles that all need transported together. I've seen a few power only options on there where just random trailers. And then I've seen some Harleys, just different bikes as well. So just pretty much anything from a vehicle standpoint, and every once in a while there's some trailers. That's speaking from, the standpoint of the routes that I typically take. So Colorado, Nebraska area, and then I'm always specifically looking on the destination back to either Nebraska or Iowa, so I don't make a trip that I don't want to make, and then it takes me an extra hour or two to get home. So Charles, I would not consider just hauling cars, and I have this idea, I haven't put it together yet fully, but for a video on just kind of dissecting RV transport. We'll say, that higher level of RV transport, hot shotting versus, and I'll be stepping out of my realm and, probably talking a lot of stupidness in the hot shotting and the semi side of things. But I think that RV transport, when you get into that multi-haul level, regardless of what division, be it haul and tow or legit 53-foot trailer, it's just a sweet spot in transportation because everything's taken care of from the company you're leasing on with. You have flexibility, and at least with Indiana Transport, like, I get to choose my backhauls. I go on Central Dispatch, I push it through. I just let Taylor in our inventory department know that, hey, this is coming over, it's for me, and then she sends it to me. And then just, there's zero stress to it other than the stresses of just being on the road, I guess. And maybe that's just my bad luck. But all I still have to pay for, truck payment, unladen insurance. Those are my two expenses, like two fixed expenses. So yeah, I don't think I would go anywhere else. I do like the idea. I would like to play around. I just don't want to get my CDL. I don't know why. I don't want it. I've had to take certifications for this, for that, and I'm just like, I'm not going to add an extra thing to my plate, but I would actually like to see what it's like with a 53-foot trailer, or even if I could do a non-CDL trailer and have 2, 3, maybe 4 cars where I'm still under, that 26. Let's see. Shannon, it was good talking to you the other day. Yes, money is waiting on you. And truth be told, over the last two for sure, I haven't really booked any back hauls. More so, the last trip I went from Des Moines to somewhere in Chicago. I got to edit that vlog, and I didn't do anything getting back home because I needed to hurry up and get back home. I didn't do any back hauls this current trip that I'm on right now, because I wanted to just get to Goshen, get loaded up, and work my way back. My wife had a showing or a listing or something for her real estate, so I just needed to get back home. And then I just didn't want to mess with anything. I tried one back haul that was paying like $600. It was a 2021 GMC Sierra, but the way that they pay didn't work with how the company accepts payment through Central Dispatch. So I was like, screw it, we'll just get back home. I'm just reading. Fair winds and following seas. I don't even know what the hell you're saying right there. Like, I don't know what that is. I think you're just pulling my leg right now. But if you have a 1 ton, well, you can make as much money as you make doing single pulls, or you could pull the trigger and make maybe close to, if not more than double, if you delete the bed and add a trailer. But I feel like you're just screwing with me here. Yeah, I like watching Steve Miller's stuff on YouTube. Yeah, and I don't know if he's in like RV Transport like 100%, or he's with a smaller company that dabbles in everything, from what I gather. But yeah, I wish I could know how to work on a freaking truck like he does. Raking in cash, yeah. You had, I don't know if everyone can see the comments. This is only my second live, but mentioned seeing a semi pulling a fifth wheel earlier today. If it was a transporter, I wouldn't think that would be too cost effective doing a single pull with a semi. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know what would be the advantage to that, other than you're prolonging your maintenance schedule, but your miles per gallon, especially with deadheading, is still horrible, like it is just in general in semis, even with this thing. Juan, I don't actually remember if we have a 1 million insurance policy or a $500,000 insurance policy, and how that relates to Central Dispatch, no clue. I just assume that the company knows what they're doing with where I'm at and what I'm allowed to do. So that's kind of one of the beauties of this, is there's people that take care of all that stuff, and they'll compliance will let me know if I'm screwing something up. Yep. Is this pressure from the transporter? Fair winds, you should definitely lease on with that. Yeah, because I didn't know what the heck you were talking about. I mean, I know there's 3, 4, 5-ish brands of trucks. I don't know. But it sounded like you were trying to like talk trucker talk or something. Charles, are the Suzukis... Charles, I feel like maybe you're piggybacking on Fair Winds right now. But don't they make the Suzuki, or that's a Isuzu, kind of those medium duty type trucks. I think Hustle Haul and Tow, maybe his rig that he has right now is a Isuzu or whatever. Christopher, yeah, I am a non-CDL. I will let you guys in on I don't know if it's going to happen. I was going to say a little secret, but so about the different levels of RV transport. So even with the haul and tow, you know, traditionally it's one camper that you're hauling, one that you're towing. Well, I've ran into another haul and tow guy when we were loading up, and the bed, the top part of it, actually had a hydraulic like car lift, so you could put a car up here and then slide another car under it. And so even at that haul and tow level, you can still increase your wages. I would assume that's probably like a 5 to 10 grand type of a build out on your existing bed, trailer, whatever. But now you have the capability of getting 2 vehicles, if not 3 if you're long enough, on all your backhauls. So I'm going to look into seeing if that's something my brother can fabricate. He works at John Deere. He's a welder fabricator there. He's been there for like 15 years. So if so, I may tackle that with him this summer. Shannon, are you in a just like an F450, F550 type of a truck with a trailer? He had just mentioned, you know, more money, same gas mileage. I took a big hit in just the amount of money I'm spending in fuel, and that's not just because Sleepy is our president, but that's just, this thing is a guzzler. Transport trucker with a flatbed doing multi-hauls. Do you need your own DOT and MC? Not if you're leased onto a company. I don't know if it was in a comment of a video, but someone had mentioned that they had their own credentials so that they could do more on the backhaul side of things. And my thoughts on that initially are, I don't know if you'd make enough money to just pay for your commercial insurance. Well, that's really the big kicker. I had actually got a DOT number when I was setting up things for the dumpster rental, and that's $100 or something to fill out an application, but that insurance would be a kicker. You just have to jump through the loopholes of what your company requires on backhauls. Raking in cash, potentially, but I don't know. I don't think Central Dispatch does like power only semi options. What I would do if I had a semi and I was doing just RV transport and then backhauls, the friend that got me into RV transport, he'll be in this upcoming vlog, but he's been looking for different semis and trailer setups. He showed me a picture of a flatbed, 53-foot trailer with the center rail, but then when it's unloaded with your 3 or 4 campers, it has 2 or 3 hydraulic lifts on it, so you can load like 5 to 7 cars on the trailer because of all the lifts. I think he was saying the guy wanted like $50,000 or $70,000 for the trailer, so he just wasn't too sure if he wanted to spend that much money on something he doesn't know if he would enjoy doing yet. But one of the things that Preston in Indiana Transport's inventory department had mentioned to me when I talked to him was if you can find, your back hauls, they'll process it. Like, they'll do all the credentialing for it. The only caveat to that is that, you find a semi power only, that company has to pay Indiana Transport so that they can pay you. The Indiana Transport won't create a BOL for it if they pay you and then you pay the company. So that's kind of the only loophole with backhauls that aren't through Central Dispatch with them. But maybe they even have another board for that multi-haul semi setup. Hey, Steve. All right, good. You guys are making truck and trucker jokes, and this Jim guy doesn't understand them. Paul, are you saying that it's super windy out today? Oh, I got you again. Truck jokes. Yeah, Shannon, I'm excited for you. How far out is your trailer from, having it on your truck ready to go and moving? Charles, that is a great question. So am I planning to quit trucking and go back to the gym full time? Or will I continue this path? So really over the last, now I don't even keep track of time. Like, it's just, you get smacked. You're like, I'm still walking. But like over the last like 2.5-ish, 3 years, I've pretty much had the gym built out, just from a staffing standpoint, that I really wasn't doing much in terms of day-to-day operations. The biggest things I would do, the financial side, the kind of sales consultation side, and I would program our small group training workouts on an app that we use, or software, and then coaches led everything. Transport Trucker, you rock. I think that, do they call that a super chat? Whatever it is, you're cool and you didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. So do I plan on going back to normal? Honestly, no. I freaking love RV transport, and I can't divulge too much right now, but I am going to just treat this like I kind of treat anything else. My mind just gets going, and then I start to look at, this could work, and then this could happen, and how would this affect it? And so I'm going to maybe create a new little business in the RV transport haul and tow multi-haul space. I don't know, but I kind of do know. I'm just trying to lead you on a little. But great question. Fair winds, yes, you are a Chevy guy. I watched your video. Guys, I would say I am a Toyota Tundra guy. That's based off nothing other than I like the Tundra that I had to give up to buy a trade in for a farm truck. Raking in cash, I would just, if you, I don't know Indiana Transport's website, but if you just search Indiana Transport, you'll find a contact section. Same thing with Horizon, with Bennett, whatever, other Synergy, whatever other options are out there. I was talking with actually it may have been Shannon the other day, where one of the things that I kind of like about Indiana Transport is that there's a loose reins, we'll say, in terms of once you get through orientation and you get your first run done, it's kind of do you and don't screw anything up type of a feel. So I kind of like that, but it could also be, there's the ups and downs to it. There's an issue with a backhaul from my South Texas, that Suburban that went up to like the Cedar Rapids area in Iowa. Well, I was communicating with the dealership that, hey, I'm going to be a little late. Well, there was a lack of communication, it was my fault, between the person I spoke to, their manager, and then the dispatch person and our inventory lady. So I get a call as I'm getting ready to drop it off, kind of like hey, what the hell are you doing? Like, why haven't you dropped this thing off? You had it for over a week. Like, you need to communicate better. Well, I have been communicating. So that would be kind of some of those bad things of a free reins type of a system. But I was communicating with what I thought was the proper channels, just to clarify. Big enough. If he keeps trucking, he's going to need a gym full time. Well, hey, the weather is getting warmer, so I'll be working out more outside. And I bought if you guys are familiar with the Elkhart Goshen area, there's a gym there, maybe 3 to 5 locations, East Lakes, I think is what it's called. So I had bought a year membership when I was doing single poles to their facilities, but I kind of just felt like, hey, it's a smaller gym, I'm gonna support them because, dude, I get it. But I probably should have bought an Anytime Fitness membership, because then I can utilize that throughout the country. I had a subscriber message me on Instagram about working out on the road. You know, what do you do? And well, you just make time for it, like with anything. But to make it convenient, you'll find a big franchise that has a place, has a location in most all big cities. Nice, the Transporter getting the gooseneck from Shipsy in June, which from what I gather is that's kind of the main place, at least in the Indiana area, that will custom make RV Transporter trailers. I'm just reading, just catching up. With all this money you're raking in, you need this YouTube channel I've created. You created my channel? What? I mean, hey, if we create a giant YouTube channel, maybe I'll just live on the beach and vlog every day. Maybe I'll make a gym down there. You guys are all invited for a weekend, and then you gotta go. Okay, OC Express, please talk more about IT as I'm about to lease with them. I believe yard fees are excluded under 500 miles, right? I don't know about that last part. I highly doubt it, but maybe. I know that there's tiers to the pole fees. I truly don't make a big deal out of it. I just came into it, as far as pole fees, I came into it as that's a line item that I don't get to play around with. So yeah, when I do my simple math, I just take the miles and, per that trip times whatever the rate is. And okay, I'm going to make about this much gross, but I know that I'm not getting that much. So pole fees are what they are. Like I get 2 pole fees for haul and tow. It's nice when they actually stage them for you to where it's, 1 unit and then the next unit. So that, they've set it up so that this unit goes up, it's your hauling unit, and then you have your tow unit. So to me, it's like, okay, hey, $84, that's worth it. But I would say other things with Indiana Transport, it's just kind of your let's get people in and push them through, because the more units we have moving, the more money everybody's making type of an approach. I've never had a bad situation with anybody, but it's just kind of, you're in. If you last, you last. If you don't, you don't. But I kind of like that in the sense of, I don't want to talk to somebody every day or, whatever. Like, let me figure out the game that I want to play, and then let me play it. I purposefully, maybe I shouldn't say this, I purposely don't answer calls when I see Indiana Transport on it. I wait for them to leave a message. If it's Taylor in inventory or somebody from compliance, I call them back. If it's, hey, this is Joe from Indiana Transport, give me a call back, I don't call them back, because it's somebody from dispatch trying to get me to do something that is unfavorable for me and my setup on it. Right or wrong, that's just what I do. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, and Planet Fit, if you're somebody that wants to invest your time in working out while you're traveling, Planet Fitness is probably your best place. I just can't do that because, well, I'm going to lift some heavy weights, I'm going to make some noises, and I don't want to, and I want free weights. Like, give me a grungy, like, just garage gym, and I'd be content. So, like, I can't do Planet Fitness, but, like, yeah, it's a nice setup and whatnot. But that's where, like, if you go to Anytime, it's just a gym. It's just been, franchised and glamorized. Jason, thanks for stopping by. Well, I hope to see you on the road then soon. Let me know if there's anything I can help with. Transport Trucker, the current rates for multi-haul, the last that I had seen from my friend who gained access to the Lowboy board, I want to say it was like $283 a mile for multi-haul. In the Indiana Transport Drivers Facebook group, I think I had once read a post that talked about if you do more than 3 or 4, if you do more than 3, that 4th one or that 5th one does not get, like, you're not getting paid for those, because I think the pay structure is full price on the first and then half price thereafter of their rates. If that's the case, then again, if I'm looking at the load board and I'm not getting paid for that extra unit, I'm never grabbing a 4 or a 5 camper setup unless I needed it because it was going to where I wanted to. Like, I'm gonna get paid for it, or I'm probably not gonna do it. Again, given circumstances are ideal. Charles, Demo Ranch. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that yet. But yeah, anything we can do to grow the channel. Like, hopefully I'm providing value so it makes sense to grow a channel. Shannon, good to know. Just on the Shipsy, being the only one with the low boy trailers step deck. Yes, fair winds. Dispatchers playing their games. I had a call from somebody. I don't remember the name of it. It was a while ago. So I call back, and you have to press, 1 through 4 to get to whatever, department. There's no, like, press 0 for operator. So I'm like, dude, I don't know what department this guy's in. I'm hoping he's not compliance and I did something wrong. So I just went to recruiting, and I was like, hey, doing blah, blah, blah. I don't remember the guy's name. He's like, called me, left a message, didn't say who he's from. He's like, oh, he's in dispatch. You want me to transfer you over? I was like, oh, no, I'll call. I just didn't call. Steve, you like this better than watching complete videos? I like the lives too. I've just never pulled the trigger on, hey, I can always do this. And then I just feel like if I don't have it scheduled out, well, then it just passes by and it doesn't happen. But I was thinking about doing a live yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to stop in Grand Island tonight, so we'll do a live. Raking in cash. Dispatch has the best interest of moving units and producing more revenue. I suppose if you're moving units, regardless of where they're going to, you're also making more revenue. I just am very specific on where I like to drop at. So if it's a Colorado run, that's where I'm headed. It just makes for a shorter trip back home, and I can get it done I can leave Thursday morning after I take my daughter to school, and then if I wanted to, I could have been back late tonight. I just don't want to be back and then be a zombie, get a poor night's sleep, and then be expected to be dad and husband early Saturday. So I get back Saturday mid-morning. Yeah, fair winds. You better not piss off your dispatch. It seems like you rely on them more. And again, I think there's probably upsides to it. I just so far haven't. When I was openly communicating with random dispatches, or the guy, Andy, was like my guy in single poles, it was always, hey, you want to help me on this one? And then there was nothing really in turn that was advantageous for me. All right. What do I use for video editing? I just keep it super simple. I typically record on my iPhone, and then I just airdrop it to my MacBook. I use iMovie. Like that last video that I just did, though, it was kind of a pain because iMovie is limited in the amount of layers, or the number of layers you can have when editing. So I had to edit the green screen, export it as one video, create and edit the back behind scenes, export it, and then merge them together. But I mean, I thought it was a cool setup. I feel you, Steve. It was let's see. OC Express, what was the dealer near Dayton that I had mentioned was a 24-hour drop? I believe they are General RV. So basically, all of the general RVs, at least in that area, from what Andy had told me at the time, they're all 24-hour drops. You leave your paperwork in the unit, and then I called back the next day just to make sure I didn't screw anything up. But then essentially you'll get paid the next business day once they, do all the paperwork stuff. Nice Iowa question. Situational adventures. Hawkeyes or Cyclones? To be honest, I'm born and raised in Iowa. I've never been a big fan of one or the other. There was a point in time where I thought I was going to try to walk on football-wise to Iowa State, to try to walk on in their spring. So I was a little partial, but I'm a University of Louisville guy just because I went there. I watched Teddy Bridgewater. I watched Lamar Jackson. So, yeah, as weird as that is, I could care less who wins, Hawkeyes or Cyclones. I'm a U of L guy just because that's where I got my master's degree. Yeah, true, Charles. And then vintage and something. It's just all bunched together. Are cabin chassis trucks allowed? Don't see much info on transport company's website. Yeah, because that's just the truck, no bed. I see cabin chassis trucks out doing single poles, whether they're doing fifth wheels or bumper poles. And then typically it seems like most of those have some type of a sleeper berth on the back of them. Or, they're the ones that are in a truck with the 53-foot trailer doing multi-hauls. OC Express, you're welcome. Raking in cash, I wish I did not run an EDL. That is something I absolutely hate and am surprised I am not de-leased yet. And I'll talk more about, I'm going to do a video on ELD versus paper logs, or using the Keep Truckin' app, manually entering. Yeah, I dislike an ELD. And then to follow up, if no logs required, then can you pull the IT magnets off and pull all-nighters in a single pull with no issues? Are you saying pull all-nighters, like drive all night? Because I feel like you're trying to get me in trouble right there. So, I'll just say this. I do Denver runs. That's like my bread and butter. I could do a Denver run in 3 days when I was doing single pulls. I do a Denver run with an ELD now, which I also pick up cars, so that eats up time, but this trip I didn't. I leave Tuesday, I get back home Wednesday, so that I can be home Wednesday night when my daughter gets out of school, take her to school Thursday, and then I leave Thursday, get back late Friday night or really Saturday. If you're really getting after it, you could get a Denver run done in 2.5 days. Of actually, that's the amount of time you got it done, and then maybe something else shows it took a little longer. I don't know. I don't live that life no more. But I always take my placards off when I'm not like under a load. But I think that brings up a lot of discussion and yada yada. And I think you could probably get like shut down or something if you're not properly showing your routes. Now, I did see a guy talk about in an RV transport group that he only logs on, logs off in Elkhart. So then when he's driving from his house to Elkhart, he's off duty because that's where he had logged off last, so he's personal conveying there. He then books a load because that's an important little whatever in the FM whatever book. He then books his load, and then he goes on duty. And he had gotten pulled over, and the DOT guy had said, hey, that's a smart way to go about it. Whether another DOT guy would say something different, I don't know. Transport trucker, you get along great with your dispatcher. Never hear from him. I've always gotten the runs you've asked for. Yeah, I've never had any bad experiences with him. It's just, hey, do this for me because this one's been sitting for too long and I'm getting some heat for it, type of a thing. Where, like with IT, I can just self-dispatch on every load. And when I see IT calling, I then open up the app as they're calling and I see which ones are the red loads, and I say, okay, am I under load right now? And if I am under load, is there a Colorado run on there? I'm going to answer it, oh yeah, hey, well, I could do this one. So I'll help them out if it's going to help me out. Luis, so you're saying different dispatchers for you guys? Yeah, I don't know if other companies throughout orientation, it's like, hey, this is your guy or your gal, and then there's the communication that starts there. I never even knew of dispatch except for my friend Travis. He's always had a good relationship with Andy at Indiana Transport. And so he's like, man, hey, I'm gonna give Andy your info and yada yada. I'll hook you guys up. So if you need anything, just reach out to him. So I would always just text Andy, which texting was essentially how, with Andy, even still, I'll text him and say, hey, could you hook me up with this? But that's like few and far between. Dennis, the other live chat was having some technical issues, just in terms of not being able to use my computer. So I had to create a new one. Doug, where do you find a truck with a minimum 22 foot long and a dovetail, no higher than 36 inches? Sounds like you're speaking of a unicorn right now. What would the smallest engine you would want for a tall and hoe or for a haul and tow? That's not a question I would answer. From what I've gathered, get a medium duty truck. Or if you're getting into haul and tow, but you have more of some like car lifts, hydraulic lifts in the back, I would get more of a semi if you're a CDL guy. But I think, feel free, anybody in the comments, to help out here. Is it like 450, 550 type of a truck, or 4500, 5500 type of a truck that you want if you're getting into the multi-haul type divisions? I couldn't tell you with like any confidence. 'Cause I mean, I see guys with 1-ton Rams with a bed delete in the trailer, pulling a few campers. So I don't know. But I know with, the medium duty truck, I'm going to get a lot more use out of my tires. When I put in my oil bypass system, I'm going to get more intervals with my oil changes. Like that actual, the 2-micron filter of that oil bypass system, you don't have to change it out but every 120,000 miles. When he had said that, when I was talking to the guy that I buy stuff from for AMSOIL, I was just like, what? Really? It's like, yeah, that or a year, whichever one comes first. Okay. Steve, yeah, I was impressed too. And all I do is I just hang up. You can't really see much of anything, but I just hang up right up there. Little green fabric that I bought at one of those hobby stores. Yeah, it works. I was surprised. I YouTubed how to do it. So Dennis, with the 26,000 pound limit, that's just saying if you were at 26,001 pounds, you would need a CDL because you're over the limit of weight that you can pull without having that commercial driver's license. So yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not even going to try to give you any info, Dennis, but I would assume if you have just a 1-ton pickup truck, I don't know where that number would come from with your gross combined weight rating. So I'm not going to mislead you on that. You should find somebody that's more well-versed in that. But if you're just doing single poles, you're typically going to be fine. And from what I've heard, I've never tested this, at least on IT's dispatch or load board app, that it won't allow you to book something that you're not able to. So if it was a 20,000 pound, giant fifth wheel, you could try, but it won't let you given like your profile in the system. Raking in cash, we use the Keep Truckin' app. And that is true. The awesome, I can't remember the guy's name, but who does the orientation, super cool guy. He just, what did he say? He's like, here's what I'm going to tell you. And we'll say Steve. Steve's going to tell you something over here. Now, I'm not going to agree or disagree with Steve, but I got to tell you this. And so there's some wiggle room when you're just manually entering things in terms of when did you dispatch on your load, yada yada. And yeah, I'm not incriminating myself because my logs were perfect when I wasn't using an ELD, and now I struggle. I get some type of violation about every other trip, it seems like. Random things. Diesel dude, you're in construction, getting laid off every winter, been debating on getting into RV hauling. That's where, like, Raking in Cash had mentioned something about, what the standard is, you're requiring or you're committing to doing one load a month. I don't get the feeling, though, that you would be de-leased if you don't fulfill that. I've also heard get hired on when they're in desperate need, in the busy seasons, and you'll have less hoops to jump through, so to speak. But so I don't know. It'd be a question to ask a recruiter, but it's kind of a question that you don't want to ask a recruiter, because if they've got Joey that wants to do it part-time and Susie that's all full-time, they're obviously going to go over here and say, hey, no, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. Worst case scenario, you get de-leased and then you just lease back on later on, or whatever. That's what I've been gathering, transport trucker with Horizon. So many safe miles until you can self-dispatch, which if I were structuring something, it'd be something in that ballpark instead of after your first load. But to be honest, from my side of things, being the driver, I love that after day one, I was able to just go in there and look and play around and crunch numbers and, choose what I wanted to choose. Again, I think that's kind of the double-edged sword of IT, in the sense of, they want to get as many drivers as possible, and that's what they kind of always mention. And it comes with, a lack of, we'll say, supervision or oversight, because there's more drivers than in-house staff that can handle everything. Hey, Pastor Anthony. Raking in cash. I'm not sure. I know with Indiana Transport, we got an email that was kind of like a strict, stern warning or new policy on, if you book it on this day, it needs to be out by this day. If you violate this, you're going just like a list, like strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, and some of the strikes where you'll lose the ability to self-dispatch for so long. I'm not sure how that applies with if there's damage to a unit. I'd almost assume it would be a situational, situation by situation thing where, did you get sideswiped, or were you an idiot and you ran in to a pole at the fuel island, Dennis, self-dispatch just means whether you're IT has an app. I think other companies have more of a web browser based setup. And you get to choose. You get to say, okay, hey, listen, I don't have any active trips on my account, so I can self-dispatch that. Otherwise, using a dispatcher, it's, hey, I'm going to call up or text or email, and it's, hey, can I get this load right here if you can see them? Or it's, hey, I'd like to go out this way. And then they're dispatching you on said load. Oh, thanks, Fairwinds. Are you kicked out of self-dispatching for 30 days? Is that what I'm gathering right now? I've been meaning to try to find this again. If you guys are in the RV Transporter Facebook group, I'm sure there's a few of them. And I mean, how it can just be a bickering back and forth type of an ordeal. But someone was talking about the actual gross vehicle weight ratings, and then what you're able to pull CDL, non-CDL with just doing driveaways or whatever they're called. Someone had this was months and months ago, someone had screenshotted something from the FMCSA, whatever it is, on an exemption with it being from the manufacturer to a dealership. I've never talked about it because I didn't save that screenshot and I haven't taken the time to go look. But essentially what I recall was, as long as your total weight is under 26,000 pounds, which goes against just normal CDL versus non-CDL in just the freight world, that you're able to, haul that 20,000 pound trailer camper if your total weight's under. So this is just what I'm recalling from what I saw. That's not me telling you some information that could be misaccurate. I don't know. But I've always been meaning to try to find what that person was talking about, because it was a screenshot that they had shared. Let's see here. The transporter, yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. I would say, in terms of somebody just getting in, and do you go for single pulls or do you jump right into the multi-haul? I think there's just less risk or less upfront capital needed, kind of. I mean, I found a sweet deal, but it's a lot easier to see, kind of dip your toes in terms of single pulls to see if you like it. But then if you're like, yeah, hey, this is kind of fun, pays great, oh, you mean to tell me I can double that money? Then it's, yeah, why wouldn't I jump into that? Yeah, JQ101, you just go to your DMV or what, I'm sure it's different state to state, but you get your tonnage, your plate tonnage, to 13 tons, meaning you can pull 26,000 pounds. Doug, you're welcome. Glad I can help with, what I can help with. Just don't ask me engine questions and truck questions, mechanical type questions. Unless you give me about an hour to search on YouTube, then I may come up with a decent answer. Matt, the farm truck is still actually, ironically, in Salt Lake City. This is part of that ELD versus Keep Trucking app difference, although it should all match up and be the same. It's not. We've been very sporadically playing phone, text, email tag. They'll shoot it's not automated, their system shoots out a message. It'll be a text and an email. I'll reply to the text, I don't get a reply back. They'll leave a voicemail, I'll call back. I end up leaving a voicemail. It's a lack of, I don't want to say caring, but like urgency on my part to get it back, because it was the new baby right after a week or week and a half of hauling in the haul and tow, and then it was life after a new baby and a toddler and just trying to survive. So it's just kind of been a perfect storm, and I don't have it back yet. I'm getting charged $23 a day as of about a week ago or so. I'm sure that'll be a negotiating tool though. Like, oh, hey, it's supposed to be this, but we'll knock $100 off. But I don't know what I'm gonna do with it when I get it back. I may just part it out, sell it all, but I still need a truck though. Do I regret switching? I don't. I actually love this. I love this freaking setup. It's just so much more. You can pretty much kind of stand up in it. There are tenfold more issues in the multi-hull division than just single poles. Like single poles, it's, why am I making this much money pulling a camper one direction and then just driving back home? Like, what? Super easy. But, whoa, big baller, high mileage helper. Jeez. You're awesome, man. Thank you. Good talking to you earlier. But so even though there's more issues, it's twofold more profitable. So, you know, literally this trip, no backhauls. I don't remember the equation for my maintenance, but I put $1,700 into our personal account. I'm at, I don't remember gas or maintenance, but after those two, I put $1,700 into our account, and I had no backhauls pre or post, you know, that main outbound. So I'm cool with dealing with adversity. That's the name of my life. So figuring crap out as you go and just learning to put a smile on while you're walking through the crap. I've been pretty good at that before getting into this. So I was eating at the restaurant here, and the guys behind me were talking about, like, basically, like, one's a company driver. It's like, yeah, we make 38 cents a mile. And I just kind of peeked back. I didn't peek back. I, like, perked up and just was trying to eavesdrop. And then I was just doing the math. Okay, you run 3,000 miles in a week, we'll say. Okay, 38 cents. I think it came out to something like $1,100 or something. I'm just like, what? But, and that's if they're getting 3,000 miles. That's if it's all miles paid, blah, blah, blah. So just looking at it from a money standpoint, it's just way more fulfilling. The trade-off is just more crap you got to deal with. Hey, what's up? Hustle Haul in tow. Hopefully you're still on vacation. Okay, good. That's why I would say if somebody loves the idea of how much money you can make in the multi-haul, I would say start with the single poles and just see if you even enjoy doing this. You know, because if you're not even fully in it, and then you have to worry about like load securement and just, you know, all of the stuff that maybe other companies thoroughly train you on and don't allow you to just move up. I'm super grateful for that. You know, maybe those people don't have those issues, but it is what it is. Again, I like to just figure things out as I go. JQ101, yeah, again, start off doing single poles. I actually had somebody reach out to me on Instagram. He's doing, I can't think of his handle. He's doing just driveaways, and then he's got a Chevy Spark or something that, you know, he tows behind the motorhome. And so he was just talking with me on, you know, hey, can you help me just map out how to be the most profitable with it? But on his Instagram, he's got a picture of his car. He took out the passenger seat, has a bed and stuff. Like, you know, he's legit maximizing that opportunity. I don't know what the numbers crunch out, or what they crunch out to be, but that would even be the toe dippers opportunity to just see, hey, do I like driving all day? You know, obviously it's not going to be nearly as much money though. All right. I'm not sharing my stimulus check in terms of the check that I got this week. We're all going to get taxed on it later anyway, so. All right, just trying to catch up. No, he legit said 30, it was either 36 or 38 cents a mile. Yeah. This is what it is. And then I couldn't hear their conversation in like the full context, but I did hear that because that's how they started the conversation. White Barn Farms. Been doing multi-haul for a month now with the Shipsy trailer. All was good till I lost a wheel seal on trailer in Vermont. Made it back to Ohio. The extra money is worth the headaches. Yes. Hopefully everything was safe. No units were damaged with that. I mean, hopefully there wasn't anything on there. But yeah, the extra money is definitely worth the headaches. And with my setup, I'm a firm believer that, you know, give it till midsummer, and, you know, a lot of those headaches can be eliminated if you just take that analytical mindset and be like, okay, how can I perfect this? How can I make this quicker? I love those over-the-top wheel, like load securements where you have then two straps coming down. But I hate that I have to, you know, use 4 different wrench thingies, whatever the hell they're called, when I could use one of those V ones with one ratchets, with one ratchet on each side, and I can be faster. I don't know if they're less secure or whatever, but you know, I just like to break things down and be like, okay, how can we eliminate headaches? They're always going to be there though, so they're not going away. Yeah, Matt, maybe we'll meet up, run up on I-80. You know, I had actually, I think I have 2 vlogs that I haven't edited yet, but on the last trip that I did, it was to Colorado Springs, and from where I live in Iowa, it had me take Highway 34 all the way over, cut under Council Bluffs, and then jumped onto 80. I missed out on like 2 way stations, and it was less mileage, it was the fastest route, and I got the best fuel economy, probably because the speed limit was 55. So I may actually start looking at Colorado Springs, Fountain, Colorado runs, and plan on taking, you know, 34 and just staying south. I talked to a guy that always runs on 70. I think he's with Indiana Transport too. He's got a Ford something, close to 1 million miles on it. It's got his second engine in it now, but he's been doing this for 5 or so years, an older guy. And he was talking about he always takes 70 and just avoids 80. Let's see here. Chris, hope all is good. How many calls do I get a week on my extended car warranty? how do they even, how does that work? I think I just got one last week. But typically, I just don't answer the phone if I don't know the number. But it's like, screw it, I'll answer it. Let's see what this is. Because when I had signed up for thinking that I needed a DOT number for the dumpster gig, I then started getting a flood of, not scam calls, but just a flood of marketing calls for signing up for this ELD program, signing up for this and that. And so then I would just mess with them when they'd call me. And then I got to the point where it was, hey, listen, I appreciate you calling me. How did you get my number? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Hey, could you go ahead and just take that off? If anybody's ever signed up for a DOT number and then you got just that onslaught of calls, comment below. It's insane. Even at the end of filing on the government website, you get a little notification that says you're going to be getting such and such calls. You don't need to pay for anything, blah, blah, blah. Nice, the transporter going full time. Tim, you know what, to be honest, I don't actually know. As far as what the height of the trailer that you can pull, I would assume you just can't be over that 13.6 mark. I measured the first or the second one that I did just to see where I was at, and I was at like 12 foot something. And I feel like for the most part, they're all about the same height. I haven't had one since I had measured from the beginning that was like, oh, that seems really tall. But sometimes I do like creep down as I'm like going under an underpass, and I'm like, are we gonna make it? If not, driver damage. Yes, we have Hustle Haul in tow. Headaches all around. But great things come from those who persevere and get through it. So hang in there. I gotta catch up a little bit. Dennis, I think that's actually an awesome setup. So for those that didn't see it in the comments, if I'm doing single poles, is it reasonable to pull only travel trailers and put a pickup camper in the bed to sleep in? I know that IT has a lot of bumper poles. When I was doing single poles, I didn't have a fifth wheel. So I only did bumper poles, and I didn't find that it limited me in very many situations. So I obviously am not the one that gives permission or doesn't, but I would say you'd be just fine, and that would be an awesome kind of sleeping arrangement setup to just kind of, like pimp out the bed of your truck. But I would make sure you have an auxiliary fuel tank. Well, JQ101, we are planning, maybe, I don't know officially or not, some type of RV transporter appreciation something. So it'd be a perfect time to, meet up. Again, I don't know if we are or not. I don't know. And Dennis, again, I referring to the single pole setup, there's some companies that are way more strict with policies. There's other companies that are way more laxed. There's good and bad that come from it. the one company that I know that is really laxed, I know that if I were going to do single poles again, I'd probably do something like that, because you could make a really cool sleeping arrangement in that back setup. Let's see. Alan, are you referring to the setup where it just goes around the back at 10 and 2 and then down for one ratchet? As far as being careful, the wheel can turn and then it can let the strap go. I mean, I could see that option having more weaknesses, or more vulnerability. High mileage helper, you take the warranty calls and start talking about your day. I every once in a while I'll watch this this YouTube channel where it's about like getting back at the scammers, and so like he somehow hacks into their computers as they're trying to hack into his computer, and he deletes all their files. That made me think of something like that. Steve, yeah, no doubt. There was I don't know if anybody else in transport has seen loads that go up to, in Canada, and I don't remember the name or the abbreviation, but it was NL. Basically, it's like this island up in Canada, and I think you'd have to take a ferry or something to get there, because otherwise, unless they have this really, really long bridge. But I always felt like that would be a really cool, fun trip to take. I just don't know if I'd want to go through the whole border side of things, and if they do like thorough inspections or this or that. I don't know. Just try to avoid confrontations or whatever. All right, just catching up. Corny Friesen. The M2, the Freightliner M2 that I have, has an 8.3 liter Cummins in it, which in total has like 780,000 miles on it. It was the engine was rebuilt or remanned or whatever 200,000 to 300,000 miles ago, and then the transmission, a rebuilt transmission was put in it about 2,000 miles before I bought it. Yeah, I don't like I-80 going through Wyoming. I have nightmares about the last 10 miles before you get to Salt Lake City. But yeah, that can be, it's a rough stretch. Transporter Rodeo, all right, nice. I had a good idea that I haven't shared with anybody yet. If we could figure a way to make this happen, we do like a transporter games, and so then it's like who has the fastest like hook and book time or whatever, like who can back up, hook up, get everything strapped up, and then there's a trophy associated with it. I thought some little quirky things like that would be fun. Just an idea. Probably not using a real trailer, but somehow just make a makeshift trailer. trailer, or use a dump trailer or something. Raking Cash, I'll have to check that out. The 11'8" YouTube channel. 13.6 is the legal height. Alright, good to know on the height stick. Yeah, I actually had used the Measure app on my iPhone, so I don't know how accurate it was, but it was 12 something, so I felt good. Yeah, I heard, Lyle, no tools in Canada, eh? Newfoundland, Canada. Yeah, that could have been it. I just saw it was I'm intrigued with, I think I want to do a Canada run at some point. And so then I just look at the longer trips to see where they go. And that one in particular just seemed like an out of this world trip because of like it was on the haul and tow maybe last week. It's gone now, but a few weeks prior there was one or two on the single pole ones, and I'm like, what? And I thought it'd make it good. It would make for good YouTube content, so I probably need to do that for you guys. True. Nice. I'm glad great minds think alike when it comes to the games. Yeah, I think an Alaska trip would be cool too. As long as it was nice up there, warm weather. All right, Lyle. Yeah, I don't know what the diesel prices are in Canada, but I've heard they're really high. So then it kind of makes you want to map out, because the pay, I think that haul and tow was maybe at $270 something a mile instead of the normal $252 a mile. But how much fuel would it take for you to just fuel up at the cheapest US place before going into Canada, and how many times would you have to fuel up while in there? Let's see. Does anybody transport to Alaska though? Like, is that, I don't think on IT's either single pole or haul and tow, I don't think I've ever seen in Alaska. Yeah, I would do a Hawaii one though, for sure. I wouldn't come back because I would drown in the ocean. $398 going into Canada. Wow. Can only take 50 gallons across? What? That's crazy. Did they measure it? Huh. That's cool. You should do an Alaska run and put it on YouTube, Fairwinds. How would you do Hawaii? Would you just take it to some port in California and then a transporter in Hawaii takes it from there. But I mean, if they would transport you, your truck, and the unit over, I would sign up for that and find a good excuse for the wife on why I'm going to be gone for so long. Yeah, OC Express, that's what Fairwinds was saying, 50 gallons, that's insane. Good to know, motion sickness, that IT every once in a while has an Alaska run. Dennis, you retracted your statement. I'm going to have to see what that was. Huh. Well, that would be one hell of a trip to ride across on the boat. If I see one of those come up on the ITs, I'm booking it without even thinking. JQ101, I don't know anything about Wave. Wave is a sister company or whatnot to Horizon, maybe, and then they only do single poles or something. Dennis, yeah, you would have, if you had an 8-foot bed, you would have plenty of room for an auxiliary fuel tank. I had a short, my F-250 was a short bed, and I had an 80-gallon auxiliary tank. I didn't have a fifth wheel, but at Dan's, they told me I would still have room to add on the B&W Companion setup for my bed. I don't know, raking in cash. But yeah, that'd be sweet if you get the mileage while your truck is off and you're just on the boat going across. Alan, that's insane. 500 gallons capacity of fuel. Oh, Dennis, with that, like with the camper top setup, I'm sure you can make it work. All right. Well, guys, it is 10, close enough to 10:15, and I was planning on waking up at about like 4:35-ish to get home mid-morning-ish. I may sleep in an extra hour. That's still cool, though, to get a per diem while you're on the boat. All right, so I'm going to end this here. This was 94 minutes. It just flew by with great company. Thanks for everybody that tuned in, and no promises, but I will try to do lives more frequently. Whether it's a 4-hour notice or a 2-day notice, just whenever I can feel comfortable with carving out time for it. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna try to figure out how you end this on the iPad. I don't know. Thanks for tuning in, guys. You guys are awesome. We're all caught up. Yeah, get some sleep. All right. See you guys.